Welcome again on the experimental demonstration of amplitude shift keying modulation and demodulation. The trainer kit that we are using for this is seen in this slide, which is amplitude shift keying modulation demodulation trainer COM114L by Sigma. The trainer board, as you can see, has 5 functional blocks. One is digital data generator, the other one is ASK modulator, then ASK demodulator, the power supply section and the carrier generator. ASK, being a special case of amplitude modulation, requires a modulating signal and a carrier signal. The modulating signal here is digital data consisting of a repetitive fixed pattern of 4 ones and 4 zeros, which is NRZ signal generated by the digital data generator block. This block uses a 4.096 megahertz crystal as the source, and it also uses an HC4040 which is a 12-bit or 12-stage binary ripple counter, and HC04, which is a hex inverter. These two ICs in combination provides divide by 256 operation, and hence the frequency of the digital data generated is approximately 16 kilohertz. Also, if we look at the other block, which is the carrier generator, it's a transistorized circuit which generates radio frequency in the range of 500 to 1000 kilohertz. It has been written 640 kilohertz, but it is possible to adjust it over a 500 to 1000 kilohertz. So it's a sinusoid generated as the carrier signal as usual in any amplitude modulated signal. The ASK modulator block uses MC1496 circuit to generate a balanced modulated signal, which you may also have used for amplitude modulation circuit. The ASK modulated signal will have presence of carrier wherever the data is 1, and the absence of carrier wherever data is 0 in its output. The modulated ASK signal output is given to the ASK demodulator. The ASK demodulator is having an envelope detector or a peak detector circuit. To adjust the RC time constant for proper modulation, there is a potentiometer provided over here, and also there is a provision to use or select one of these two capacitors. So there are 2 capacitors provided. We can use one of them at a time by using this selectable switch. And all the ICs and components on this board are powered by using this power supply section. The standalone carrier signal can be observed in this slide. The peak to peak voltage set to approximately 3.5 volt, and the frequency can be observed as 999 kilohertz, which is almost 1 megahertz. So it's a 1 megahertz sinusoid being used as the carrier signal in this experiment. if you look at the output of the digital data generator, it generates a data signal. I have already mentioned that it creates a repetitive pattern of ones and zeros. The peak to peak voltage during the experiment set was about 8.7 volt, and the frequency was approximately 16 kilohertz. Looking at the ASK modulated signal, we can see that in comparison with the data signal, wherever data is high or 1, the carrier cycle appears, and wherever the data is low or binary 0, during that interval the carrier cycle almost disappears, and what we see over here is much like a noise signal. So the carrier cycle is either absent if the data is 0, or the carrier cycle appears or on if the data signal is 1, and hence the other name given to this modulation technique is on-off keying. If we want to analyze the power spectral density of this signal, we can do so by setting the math function in the FFT mode on the oscilloscope that's available with us. The typical ASK modulated signal is shown in the upper window, and the FFT signal is shown in the lower window on the DSO. We have to set the center frequency to where we observe the peak. This can be easily done by moving the knob. The center frequency observed in this case is 500 kilohertz, though if you remember, the carrier signal that we set was 1 megahertz as a carrier, but on another occasion I have taken this snapshot, so during that particular time the carrier frequency was set to 500 kilohertz, so you can observe a peak at the 500 kilohertz. The frequency at this point in time in the beginning here is 0. It's starting from 0. That means there is a non-zero DC content in this VSD, and then there is the third harmonic of the center frequency, which is nothing but the carrier frequency here, which is nearly 1500 kilohertz compared to this 0 hertz. And why do we observe the DC content in this modulated signal is because of the reason that our data signal can be considered as a rectangular signal, and if we try to find the Fourier series for rectangular signal, then in that case we'll see that there is a constant in the expression, and then there will be fundamental frequency of the signal, and then there will be harmonics of the same. So because of the constant that appears in the Fourier series representation for the data signal, because data signal is an on-off signal here, so it goes between 0 and positive. So because of the non-zero DC value present in the Fourier series of the data signal, we are observing some significant power being delivered at DC or 0 frequency. And if we make the analysis further for the data signal, we'll see that there will be a fundamental frequency, and then there will be 3 times the fundamental frequency, then 5 times, 7 times, and so on. But the even multiples of the fundamental frequencies are absent in the analysis, and hence the next peak that we observe in the spectrum after the 500 kilohertz carrier frequency is observed at 1500 kilohertz. Demodulation is simple. It's an envelope detection. Just for the comparison purpose, I have triggered channel 2 with the demodulated data, and the channel 1 with the original data from the data generator, and you can see there is a 1-to-1 correspondence. The two signals are completely in correspondence with each other, so data is faithfully detected or demodulated with the peak detector circuit that we have. You can also observe the frequency, which is approximately 16 kilohertz, same as the original data signal. Thanks for watching. See you again.